everybody. It's not a one size fits all. So you can't say a parent will not be harsh on a child and the child will turn out so well. A parent will have to be firm. So different children. That's why you are the parent. You should be able to know as a parent if you're a child, what's the best way. You can't even train all your children the same way. So it's your responsibility to know.
Rutherfohrd.
Back to episode 2 on Chat with Rutherfohrd. Is still our Mother's Day edition, and I have first time moms with me. Of course, I'm a first time mom too here, and we're just discussing the challenges. What basically no one told us, about becoming a mom, because it's even like what we expected, and then it's different from what is happening now, at least in some areas. But you should check out episode 1. Listen to it and let me know in the comment section your own experience. So once again, thank you, ladies, for coming on the show. So now we've discussed the challenges, the myths, and everything. Now let's come back to we, more like we and our husbands, right? Looking back, or basically, how has being a mother or being parents, how has it shifted like your relationship with your partner, like emotionally, in terms of like intimacy and all that, basically?
I would say, to be fair, that's actually a very big shift, because for both of you, you were just two people in your house doing whatever you want to do, right? And now there's a third person that you, as a mother, are also trying to figure out how do I take care of this person. And then there's a husband there that's looking at you like, I thought I was the number one. What has happened, right? So it's actually a very it's not a straightforward thing. I would say for me personally, we had to talk about it. Because I was in a fix whereby I have this child to take care of. I have exams I'm preparing for. So most times when he comes, and my mom was also around, my parents. So either I'm with her, I'm trying to say, oh, this baby's complaining. And so he comes, I'm just like, oh, baby, welcome. Your food is in the microwave, you could have it. So literally, it's just more of, oh, you see, you go. And then when he comes, I'm like, do you know what this child is saying? So it was just more of the child, your food, bye-bye. There was no me and you conversation. So, and he actually spoke up. So for me, I think communication also played a major role, because I didn't even see it from that aspect that we are losing just both of you, and now it's more of other things. The baby, ask about this person, because also sometimes the men feel left out. They feel like, what is this woman not understanding? So communication really helped us, because it was actually a big shift. I think we have gone past that, and we're able to navigate it. And also we read books actually on parenting, we read books on navigating that area also, and then we communicated too. So there has to be compromise on both sides.
So it's just balancing things at the end of the day. Then what about did it take time, in terms of intimacy? Because that's also on that thing, right? Some people, when they give birth, it takes a long while. Also, people they're not just able to go back to that. So what can you say about that?
So for me, after the first 6 weeks, there was literally nothing like that.
I said it was
that. So I'm still sore and all, and then also I wanted to be sure of family planning, because
there's no way there's a friend of pregnancy and
it's sure family planning and all. And I remember my sister had to tell me that you have to be sure what's supposed to, so that it's not like a second child comes in and both of you are acting. All happened. So for the first 6 weeks, So then after the first 6 weeks, honestly, it was quite also hard, to be fair. So it's not like it was really easy, but it's just like you're trying to understand your body again. You're trying to do with your body again. Your body has changed, so it's also emotional, and with time, I think you just get back to it. I think that was the challenge.
I want to ask you that. I want to come from a different perspective. In terms of emotional state, I would say that for me and my husband, we become more mature emotionally. So prior to having a baby, maybe I could get angry at little things. But now, even if I'm angry, I'm like, see, there's a baby to take care of. This anger has to go. So I think it has made us more mature in handling issues, because if both of you are angry, when the baby needs to sleep or feed, we used to be carrying face, So more mature in terms of handling issues, misunderstanding, Yeah.
Yeah, and everything you're doing, you must be careful, right? Because there is someone watching. Yeah. And just like I said earlier on, right, treating things from the foundation. Yeah, they copy you. You do it nice. Because even me, I notice some patterns, right, with my daughter. If I do something, like for instance, like this speaking of clothes, when I say now using tissue on like the right thing, I notice that okay, there's change. Because I notice that it is tease now. I'm not like, okay, actually this stuff is real. Okay, yeah. That's amazing. So, what is one thing that is one major thing couples should know before they start having their baby? I know you can't be fully ready, just like you getting married. You can't have it all figured out, have all the money, have the perfect job before you get married. It's the same way when you start having kids, right? But what is at least some things that couples must know before they start having baby?
Okay. I would just say that I feel couples should be enlightened to know that when a child comes into the picture, it's now more of responsibility on both sides. Also, anything you do, like the child is working and watching. When you guys are arguing, when you guys are laughing, the child, because there's no other person the child is learning for. So anything you see the child playing out, it has a result on both of you. Then I would also say another thing is you have to now be intentional about creating time that it's just the three of you, because you could get so busy with life, and then you guys could start drifting apart. So the woman starts drifting to the child, she's tendering to the child, taking care of the child. The man is busy working and everything. If she's also working, she's working. And before you know it, both of you are losing your friendship. And when you look back, you're just like, who were we? And everything you guys are now talking about is the child. The child. It's no longer both of us. So always carve out time for the two of you, because the truth is, before the child, it was both of you. And if both of you are stable, that child will have a very stable place to go in. And so there's a danger of tilting more as a mom towards your child and leaving the father out of it. So encourage him. If maybe you are doing something he wants to tell you, oh, come and be gisting me as you are dating the child. Or come and be telling me this as you are doing this. Let it be us, not me and baby, me and. So if he wants to tell you, so do you know what happened? Okay, I'm in your room changing diaper. Come, let's talk about it together. So let's just be more. Yeah, I think it's better that way.
That's very true. Because I saw one illustration one time, right? Because that's basically what we do. When you get married, definitely it's your husband. When the kids start coming, we put them in the middle. It shouldn't be that way, actually, right? Yeah, we just focus, and especially mothers. I know there is that attachment and all that, but we must balance it. It's very important because anyone wants to add anything to that question.
For me, apart from the emotionally trying to figure things out with your spouse, building, I would say for families, one thing you should, I'm taking really cognizant of the finances related to having a child, especially in the Western world here, where, using Canada as an example, where a mom has like 1 year maternity leave and then they just rely on quote unquote just one income. So I would say if you can save for a year before having that baby, it will go a long way in relieving some of the stress. Because sometimes I feel for like the fathers who are still working, somehow their head is just attuned to how am I going to make money to take care of this, pay the bills, make sure this baby is fine. I feel if it's planned ahead of time, I mean, of course, he's still going to think about the bills, but it might not be as much, as the pressure won't be as much on him as before. So that's one thing I think or new parents or couple should think of before having a child. So apart from every other thing.
Yeah, in addition to what she said, as much as you plan, also say for a person of faith also, this is where faith comes in. Because when I didn't start working till I got licensed in Canada to come to family. So when I came here, I didn't work for like 2 years. I didn't work. And it was only my husband who was working. Another thing is also living within your means. If you as a couple can live within your means and decide, I want you to focus on this thing, right? So have an end goal. We knew that working for me and having a baby was going to be a huge distraction and I was going to prolong my life in licensing. So this was the goal. I'm going to work, right? You live within your means. You may not be able to go for vacations. Your vacation may be in Brandon. Your vacation may be in Cell Kick. Yes, but you can afford all the luxury and all. But if you are able to live within your means, people will be able to. Yeah, because I'm talking from personal experience, right? Yeah, so it's also possible if you people are able to live within your means. That is just about planning.
it's easy. We just make it complicated for ourselves, right? Yeah. Then now coming to mom guilt, yeah, it might not be maybe that way like so much here in Canada, right? Because compared to like back home, for instance, I think at moment they do 3 months, 2 months, and they are back to work. And then yeah, no, it's not because here in Canada you can do a year or like 18 months, right? So there's this idea of like mom guilt when you're finally going back to work, right? Because definitely you have to, go ahead with your life. You have to, get money to take care of the kids and everything. Yeah. So what can you say about that? Because some people tell it has been selfish when you don't have to leave your baby. And I don't know whether they're expecting you should not be the baby to nowadays like women just do housewife like right? Yeah. So what can you say about that?
For me, I would say you have to do what you have to do. I mean, life goes on. Because you had a baby doesn't mean life stopped. Things still keep moving. And if you're someone that you're career oriented from the beginning, even that maternity leave is like, sometimes you feel like, what am I doing? I'm not doing this. You're working, but you feel like because it's not in career space, you feel like maybe you're being delayed or something. So if you're career oriented, I wouldn't say it's a selfish thing because you need to be happy for you to have a happy family. And so if you prioritize your work, as some people want to become like full-time housewives or full-time home carers, which is fine, there's nothing bad about it. But if you know you want to grow your career and you want to go back to work on time, I wouldn't say it's an issue as far as there's understanding between you and your partner, and you guys are able to manage your time. So it's not like your baby begins to suffer or you neglect your child just to focus on your career. It's all about finding balance. I don't think it's a selfish thing. It's even going to, be much more selfish if you delay or you deny yourself what you really want. Just to take care of your child. It begins to really affect you in the future, where you're like, oh, I just focus on this baby and I neglected myself. So there's that balance that needs to be achieved. So I don't think, and you need to make money. Like in this Western world, one income may not really be enough. It may not be sufficient. So you need to support. And so maybe in Nigeria, when you have more help or something, maybe one income would be good. But for like this part of the world, and if you're career driven, I wouldn't say it's you've done your past by going on maternity leave, and so now it's time to move back into real life. So that's my take.
Okay, thank you so much, sis. Yeah, so now let's come to the healthcare, like the treatments, definitely. Right? Was it what we expected? Was there anything? Different. Yeah. Okay, so looking at the health care there and like what you experienced, what can you say about it? Like,
I would say the healthcare here is amazing. Throughout the journey, it was my antenatal. Everything was amazing. Everything that I wanted, I got. And it even came down to when I had an issue with my blood pressure and I had to stop working. They have a care system that comes home every day. That comes around every day to check my blood pressure and check the baby's heartbeat to make sure everything was fine. So that's the extent. It's not just in the hospital care. They also do like home care for pregnant mothers or pregnant women. So I would say their healthcare here, it's amazing. So I would say for what we do, we get pretty much like a lot. And even after I had the baby, the things that I got, Femolab, diapers, anything that I needed, I got. I do it myself. Like the only needed to actually bring kids already. To bring 2 boxes. So I think looking back at everything, how they take time to explain whatever process that we have to do, and that's one thing I like about them. They stick to what they want to or what they think is best for you, no matter how much you might want to insist for something else. They stick to this routine until they can see that this might not work. I remember during when I was about 5 months, I really wanted to do a cesarean section. I'd already made up my mind from way back that I wasn't going to go through the normal. I didn't want the vaginal delivery. I didn't want the stress. But the gynecologist or the obstetrician kept insisting. And I remember I called my uncle because he's a consultant of the gynae, and I was telling him, I was like, oh, that's the best course. You have to put your baby yourself, except something else happens or it's triggered. And the way they took their time to explain the reason, I'll tell you that I brought this up every appointment that I had, and that every time he always didn't find it like, you will see that he wasn't annoyed that he had to explain this thing over and over again to me. So I would say that the my healthcare experience here was very much amazing.
Yes. Any other ladies?
I mean, comparing it back to Nigeria, I mean, with first time moms, it's not like I have any previous experience.
Yeah.
But I know that in Nigeria, once you go into a clinic or a hospital, that's where you're going to deliver your baby, except you decide to change. But yeah, the process is a bit different. So even if you're seeing an OB, that's no way you're going to deliver. So I'm like, okay, I thought you're supposed to just go to the hospital and feel it. I come here, and then when it's time for me to deliver, I have to go to another location. So that was the difference.
What can we say about raising kids here? How expensive is it? Yeah, and then even raising them generally. People say compared to back home when you can even at least do proper discipline or whatever, because that's social market. What can we say?
For expenses, I don't really have a perfect idea because I really don't have an idea of what it is right now, like raising children back home, right? And in terms of like keeping track of expense, I would not really say I have something that okay, I have a logbook or a spreadsheet of how much. So for that, I would not really compensate anything like that. But in terms of training, I would just say that it's quite different here. I mean, coming back from Nigeria, everybody's strict, anybody can shout on each other, drop that thing, don't do that here. Everybody can talk to anybody's child, but here you are more careful. You have to talk to children more with respect and dignity, and most times you don't want to you can't just maybe smack someone's child or discipline someone's child. You have to respect that. So I would not say it's really wrong or right. I'm just like, let's be watching because to be fair, right now, Nigeria and here, there's no really difference in terms of children. Because children out there, children here, they're Gen Z or Gen Y or whatever, they have the same mindset, they're exposed to the same technology now. So it's a global village. So yeah, but currently I'm just reading books more on like parenting. I know you have different kinds of parenting, but I mean one is godly parenting, whether gentle or hard or once you can train up a child in the way you should go, right? Yeah, okay. And then for everybody, it's not one size fits all. So you can't say a parent may not be harsh on a child and the child will turn out so well. A parent will have to be firm. So different children, that's why you are the parent. You should be able to know as a parent if you're a child, what's the best way. You can't even train all your children same. So it's your responsibility to know how. Not this was where my parents trained us. No, those things. I will turned out well. I said, well, what really told us turned out well? Maybe because we are just here for turned out well, we just laugh at ourselves. And I'm just like, I feel we should have a better pedestal for. They did their best with what they do, and definitely we turned out well. That's what I hear. I mean, our children should be the expenses.
I had to like forgetting things for the baby at first. I'm like, huh? The coming what I don't understand, and then having the baby now, how much they eat and everything.
Even the clothes,
they have to
some
wear.
you get to wear them like very small.
Yes. And advice: don't buy plenty clothes. Just buy what the baby will wear. And the baby is 5 years old, always buy that.
You want to experience it. They told me now. Okay. All right. One more question before we go to Rutherfohrd. Based on the whole childbirth and the whole journey generally, did anyone experience? Is anyone traumatized? Yeah, let me use that word.
Trauma.
No,
Yeah, that's a strong one. That's a strong one. Maybe like let me see. Okay. Yeah, maybe shocked or unexpected. So to say it maybe for the first 2-3 weeks. After like a month, I think I started getting over it. So that first you just went through a prolonged process. Even if it was a short labor, it was still a stressful period, and so your body needs to adjust. So just coming to terms with, okay, I've just gone through this process and now back to reality. I think at least 8 months. In 8 months would be like 8 months to get over that mental shift or mental stress. So I wouldn't really say it's a trauma. I mean, I know some people Maybe it should be a trauma in the event of death. That's what is a trauma, because there are people that go into the labor room and they don't make it out. People just come out with the baby alone, the mother passes on, so that is a trauma situation. But it's a trauma. My mom put baby and mom came out alive. My own personal it's a miracle. So I won't say it's a trauma, but it's so maybe a shock for the first few weeks and then it starts to wear off.
Well, yeah, maybe the word is too big because for me that's just like the word I can use to describe. Yeah, describe it. That I said trauma. Because why I asked that question, right? For me, and just like I said, well, that's the thing about chats with Rutherfohrd, right? We just say it as it is, honest conversation, right? Because if you don't talk about it, people just assume, yeah, it took me maybe 3-4 months, few months, because I had to even take it into prayer. You understand? Because I enjoyed the whole pregnancy phase. I was saying that's that late. I was taking my time because I needed to be ready, and that's the thing about communication. We must discuss it. So I just thank God for healing also, right? Because I was really, really scared. I want more kids, right? But I was just like, yeah. So that's why I use that word. But yeah, I thank God for for grace, and grace is always there at the end of the day, right? So that's okay, that's all we have on this video episode. Once again, thank you so much, ladies, for coming. So before we round off this segment, Rutherfohrd, I will just ask you the question and you just say one word. Okay, we'll go like this. Okay, so I miss my old life. Yes, no, sometimes. No, sometimes. Sometimes. Motherhood in one word. It's really different. It's change. Change. Yeah. Okay. Roller coaster. Okay. Motherhood is harder than I expected. Yes or no? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I felt prepared for motherhood. Yes. No. Somewhat. No. Somewhat. No. Okay. Then the final one. Right now, I feel like I'm doing enough. Yes, no, still figuring it out. Yes. Still figuring it out. Still figuring it out. Okay. Thank you so much, ladies, once again. I can't thank you guys enough. Yeah, and for also sharing your experience, being real about and doing enough. Let this be a reminder that you are learning, you are growing, and that's what matters, right? There's no one way, one right way, one perfect way, in this whole motherhood journey. Just do your own bits, ask questions too, and then sure. Okay? And until I come your way again next time, it's your girl Rutherfohrd. Please comment, like, and most importantly, subscribe. I love you all. Bye.